Dungeons & Dragons has lost millions over boycotts over the OpenDnD controversy, and it has left numerous third-party and D&D creators jumping ship from the platform. But it only seemed a couple of months ago, Wizards could do no wrong. With the biggest names in D&D now going against Wizards, millions boycotting Hasbro by canceling their D&D Beyond subscriptions, and a tidal wave of criticism heading towards their way, what exactly went wrong? Could it have been prevented, and can they be redeemed? Wizards of the Coast is a game publisher and developer best known for creating Dungeons & Dragons. The company was founded in 1990 by Peter Atkinson and it was originally based in Seattle, Washington. The company's main goal was to create and publish fantasy games that would be appealing to a wide audience. In 1974, the first edition of Dungeons & Dragons was created by Gary Gygax and Dave Anderson, which was acquired by Wizards of the Coast in 1997. D&D was widely successful, but the success had unforeseen challenges. Despite its popularity and longevity, the game has been the subject of controversy due to its association with the Satanic Panic of the 1970s and 80s.
Caught on. Now a new game is sweeping the country.
You will burn forever and ever in eternal torment. You are no more.
The Satanic Panic was a panic that occurred in the United States and other countries characterized by the belief that Satanism and the occult were spreading rapidly and posing a danger to society, particularly children. Think of the children! Ah! During this time, D&D was criticized for its use of fantasy elements such as magic and demons, as well as promotion of violence, suicide, and occult practices. Supposed promotion. Critics also claimed the game encouraged players to act out violent or immoral scenes in real life. They didn't! These accusations led to a significant amount of media coverage and a public debate about the game and its harmful effects. Potential harmful effects. Despite the controversy, D&D has remained popular and continued to evolve with the years. Many of these accusations were wisely debunked as, they're all a bunch of shit. And the game is now widely recognized as a credible form of creative storytelling and a ways for players to engage in collaborative problem solving with their friends, which is why I love playing it. However, the controversy harmed the game's reputation and sales, which lasts for many years until Hasbro came in and bought them out. In 1999, Wizards of the Coast was acquired by Hasbro, the major toy and game company. I'm sure you never heard of them. The acquisition was a strategic move by Hasbro in order to expand its presence in the gaming market and gain access to Wizards of the Coast popular games and intellectual properties, the main one being D&D. The acquisition was completed with Hasbro paying $325 million to the company. Wizards of the Coast remained an independent entity and continued to operate under its name and management team, but now is a subsidiary of Hasbro. The acquisition was completed on April 7th, 1999, and was announced publicly on April 8th. The acquisition allowed Wizards of the Coast to continue to develop and publish games, but it also provided the company with additional resources and support from Hasbro. It helped to secure the financial stability of the company and provide strong backing for the development of new games, expansions, and projects. Hasbro also supported Wizards of the Coast in expanding its reach of games globally and helped to establish the company as a leader in the gaming industry. Despite the acquisition, Wizards of the Coast had continued to release new games and updates to its existing games, and its TTRPGs have remained popular and well regarded in the TTRPG community. Despite its longevity, D&D experienced a decline in popularity in the early 2000s, with sales of the game dropping significantly. The decline was primarily attributed to a variety of factors, including changes in the market, increased competition, and the perception that the game was outdated or somehow complex. However, starting in 2014, D&D began to see a resurgence in popularity, with the sales of the game increasing dramatically. It is largely attributed to the release of the 5th edition and the new Open Gaming License, OGL, which allowed third-party publishers to create and publish their materials and supplements using D&D rules. The new edition of the game was designed to be more accessible and user-friendly, making it easier for new players to get into the game. With the rise of shows like Critical Role, in which a group of nerdy-ass voice actors play D&D, helped popularize the game even further. The show had millions of followers and helped to create an entirely new generation of players, which were attracted by the storytelling, camaraderie, and fun of the game. All these factors helped to reinvigorate the D&D brand and attract new players to the game. As a result, D&D had once again become one of the most popular and well-regarded role-playing games on the market. However, this all changed with the turn of the decade. As stated earlier, Wizards of the Coast was acquired by Hasbro in '99. Since then, the company had seen tremendous success, with CEO Brian Goldner responding in 2020 that Wizards of the Coast delivering positive results, and the company planned to double the company's money between 2018 and 2023. I'm going to talk about this statement for a second, because the public got wind of this, and this was the initial kind of let's call it gasoline getting poured onto the fire, because it felt like years, they were starting to get a little bit more corporate, they got bought out by Hasbro, but it was okay. okay, because they were still somewhat supportive, but I think the statement that he made here is really what just dumped gasoline on the fire. In February 2020, during a Hasbro earnings call, Goldner announced that Wizards of the Coast was focusing on increasing revenues and profits, rather than prioritizing the needs and wants of the D&D community, which only helped to invigorate the perception that, Wizards of the Coast didn't actually care about their client base and were only doing this all for money, which, according to this meeting, technically wasn't untrue, but let's talk about what really was bad. And then during the COVID-19 pandemic, they saw a huge increase in virtual play for D&D, and as a result, the company raised their prices. This may or may not have been, a way to just suck some more money out of their fan base.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
But it was definitely seen that way. And then, this is the spark. In 2022, when Cynthia Williams replaced him as the president of Wizards. Let me talk about something. The main reason why shows like Critical Role, Dimension 20, and Just Roll With It were able to succeed was because of the OGL. The OGL was a legal tool that allowed these people and creators to use D&D's rules settings to create their own products. But in December 2022, Wizards released additional details on the new upcoming OGL 1.1, which would go into effect with their new D&D system called DnD 1. Revenue related to any content under the OGL must be reported to Wizards of the Coast if it exceeds $50,000 annually, and creators that make at least $750,000 in income annually will be required to start paying royalties in 24. This change had a great deal of pushback from the fans.
This deal's getting worse all the time.
And this is what caused the dam to flood. Many players and publishers had criticized the OGL for giving Wizards of the Coast way too much control over the game, and some had argued that it only allowed Wizards to profit off the hard work of the third-party creators and limits the creativity and innovation of the community. It's important to note that, like I said earlier, the OGL is just one of many changes that Wizard had made to D&D in recent years, and not all these changes were met with pushback from fans. However, this is the one that really saw the most amount of pushback because, like most PR controversies, it's a slow build-up. A statement said here, a thing done here, increase of prices during a weird time, and then this is what just made the blowback fucking This is what just caused the dam to just collapse. Many in the community still felt like Wizards of the Coast was focusing more on increasing revenue rather than prioritizing the needs of them. So they lost their fucking shit. And then on January 28, 23, Wizards made an official statement on the D&D Beyond Twitter saying that the original OGO will stand, while also making an entire SRD available under a Creative Commons license. It's very clear that Wizards has lost the respect of many in the D&D community. I'll be curious to see if they ever regain our respect.